Here you go, Julie.
Oh, okay. Well, hello everyone.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen straight away. So I'm Julie Strawson. I have been involved with WCA a long time, but I started an environmental group in Wiltshire called Leaf in 2021, and I've been helping with communications on various WCA programs over the years, including Green Open Homes and others. And I was really it's when Jackie sort of introduced me to the National Emergency Briefing. I just thought this is manna from heaven for a communications person. This is exactly what we need to be able to get the message across. And we've been waiting for years to get the message across. So I grabbed it with, a huge amount of passion, and I've tried to start the ball rolling in Wiltshire, and with Jackie hugely behind it, and others, of course, Julian and all the rest of the team, Bill and so on. And we've been working for a few weeks together to get it started, really. So what I was going to do tonight is walk you through what I've learned so far, really, and what a screening could look like for you. But there are no, rules on this, and it's very, very important, to tailor whatever you do to your community. But I'll start at the beginning, and we'll go through. I'll try and keep it brief, and then have plenty of time for questions afterwards, ideally. So, if you don't mind saving your questions till after I finish, that might help us get through the amount we've got to get through in a fairly short space of time. Not make it too laborious for everybody. Okay, so I need to share my screen. Hold on, I'm just oh, can somebody enable me to share my screen? My screen, is that you, Julian, or somebody else? Is that working now?
Yet. I think Julian went off on a wander, actually.
Oh, can you see anything yet? Anyone? No?
No.
Just me. Okay. Right.
Sorry,
Julian. Oh, here he is.
I'm here, but for some reason all the buttons have moved around. I'm just on my phone at the moment. I'll come back to the computer. I mean, I think anyone who's a co-host can make you a co-host, but I'm not sure.
Oh, my request's been declined according to Zoom.
I was trying to, but I can't get it to work, Julie.
I'm not allowed.
Right.
Is that better?
Still not with us.
No. Not quite sure why.
Okay. Sorry, this is not very professional, is it? I'll cut some of these bits out. Okay, Julie, you should be able to show me.
Oh, okay. Give it another go. Can you see the People's Emergency Briefing now?
Not yet.
Okay, that's odd. How about now?
No, sorry.
Have you got it now?
Nope.
No? It doesn't make sense.
I can just see her face.
How nice for you.
I might just take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Anthony Kirby, who, as one might say, got us into this mess, because he's one of the organisers of the National Emergency Briefing and very kindly invited us to come.
Thanks, Jackie. Nice to see you.
So I hope you're all very happy as to how it's going.
Yeah, no, I'm delighted because there's so many showings in Wiltshire, and therefore the news that I'm feeding back to the two Aldridges is very good, Jackie. So we're not like Lincolnshire or Yorkshire with a very, very few screenings.
Well, they may come to it a bit later. They don't do anything hasty in Lincolnshire.
No, they definitely don't have East Coast.
I've got a suggestion then. Let's hear from Isabel, and then there's one or two people who've got things that might just take a minute or two, and that would give you a chance, Julie, to
I don't think this is
do some more experimenting.
My comment is for Julie. Maybe if you don't have two screens, Julie, it is just the laptop. When you share, it can often ask you for an entire screen or full screen. So make sure you choose the entire screen option.
Okay, yeah.
The other thing, I'm wondering if you can email your thing
Yeah,
to
settings.
Yeah, I was wondering
Julian.
whether you can share it with somebody else, and maybe
Yeah,
they can.
okay.
Good idea, William.
Mhm. So that's
Okay.
Should work, Julie, is you click the share button and it comes up with a menu of sort of windows that you can share, and then you just click on the window that you're trying to share,
that's
and it
right.
should share it. That's what you did, is it?
That's what I did. Yeah. Thank you. Is that working now?
Oh, it might.
Oh, wait a sec.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go.
Well done, Julie.
So before you crack on,
Yeah.
just to note, we might stick a couple of things in after this one before the item, official item 2, and that's, I believe you have something to present to us or to report to us, the Wyatts, and also, is that the same as Greener Vale, Pusey? Okay, great. Right, so I haven't forgotten you. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. So for those of you that don't know, I'm Julie Strawson. I have, as I've said in the beginning, just been working on the National Emergency Briefing events in Wiltshire and trying to connect the dots a little bit and trying to help us to coordinate efforts a little bit and spread out dates and that type of thing. So for those of you that don't know what the People's Emergency Briefing is, it's basically a UK public information programme that's supported by expert parliamentarians and many national authorities, such as the Church of England and the National Trust and so on, providing non-partisan facts about the climate and nature crisis and the impact this is having on life in the UK. And the People's Emergency Briefing film is a crowd-funded film which summarises that briefing, which was held in Westminster in November 2025 by UK scientists and experts from the economic, military and healthcare sectors. And thousands of screenings are now being planned across the UK, and several have already taken place in Wiltshire to inform the public, with the aim to compel the government to hold a national televised briefing to get everybody on the same page as the experts, and to hopefully depoliticise this and make it of national concern to everyone. And that isn't, as you know, very easy if you've been in climate change circles for a long time, to break out of our circle. That's the aim, and reach everyone else that doesn't join our circle. So that's what it's all about. So as I said, I hosted an event last week at Langford Lakes, which was in partnership with Wiltshire Wildlife Trust, and a little environment group that I started in 2021, LEAF, actually were the hosts. I decided to run an invite-only event first because I really wanted to learn how this worked, and I wanted to contain the size of it a little bit initially before I did a big open public one. And also, I wanted to invite people in the community that I thought could influence others and, you know, help to broaden the audience. So I invited about, I think 150 people originally, with the aim of arriving at 50 attendees on the night. I wanted a very diverse group of people, so I didn't just want, you know, my group, the LEAF group, if you like, that was interested in the environment. I was interested in everyone from the sports and social club organisers to parish councillors, and most importantly, the aim of this programme is to invite your MP along. Our MP is John Glenn, so I'll leave it there for a minute. And most importantly, I wanted to have a neutral venue, a place that was, you know, quite pleasant and easy to access. And Langford Lake seemed to be a good place because we've done a lot of work there before. So what I did next in terms of selecting the venue was to have a look at the cost of it. That's always important because we're all trying to fund this out of our own sources, aren't we? Our own resources. There's no funding for this, so we have to bear that in mind. And Wiltshire Wildlife Trust are very kind to partner with us and give us the space free, and they're very supportive of this. So if you have a Wiltshire Wildlife Trust venue near you, that might be a good place to ask if you're looking for a venue. We wanted to provide refreshments because it was a 2-hour and 20-minute event, and we wanted to make sure that people didn't feel tired halfway through, because the second half of the event is all about discussion, and sometimes that can fall flat if it's after a long day at the office. We obviously need to check out they had a projector, a screen, and a sound system. I'll leave it there for now, but all I can say is my biggest learning from this event is make sure you run the entire film when you run your test, and you go from end to end on the sound system or on the AV system that you have. It's a really, really major tip after what we learned at this venue. Some systems can be quite old, so I'd really recommend you know, don't just do a 10-minute test, which is what I did. Make sure you run the whole, literally 50 minutes of the film. So we then confirmed our date and registered then with the NEB. And if you go onto the NEB website, that all the links are in this presentation, which I will pass on to you afterwards if you want to download it. You register your screening there. I don't know if this is going to work. Yes, it is. Hooray. There you go. Can you see it? Or not? Can you see the screening map?
Not yet. No, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I think actually it'll stay in PowerPoint, won't it? Because the links won't go through.
Actually, Julie, we lost your presentation sort of from the moment you started.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. We didn't. We just saw your face.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
We can't see the slide.
You can't see the slide?
No, sorry.
Okay.
Keep talking, Julie. It's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, the words are great.
Julie, it did briefly say Julie is sharing her screen, but then it disappeared again.
Yeah, that's right.
So you did something right briefly.
It's trying to break out, isn't it?
Is it back? Is it back now? No. The thing is,
not for me at least.
Yeah, so I will share this deck with you. It's quite an extensive deck with lots of links in it, and all of the words that I'm saying are in it as well. So you can have a good look through it yourselves. But I think this is very odd, isn't it? Yeah. So
can you forward it to Julian?
Yeah, okay, I'll try and do that.
Might be too big, of course. But...
I think the other thing, Julie, which would really help us enormously is how many places have we already done the screening? Because I looked at the map and I've logged some of them, like Corsham, Wiltshire, and Bradford, etc. Yeah, but to have a grand total number would be really helpful, please.
Well, we've already, so I've got a slide with all the all the screenings on it.
Yeah, if you can send that to me. It was hard to distinguish from the map. You know, I tried to go in.
The other option. Yeah, so
I got
finish this off, Anthony. Hang on. The other option is to dump it on our drive.
Yeah.
And Julian can pick it up from there.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going
to
share it to your drive.
Bill, I've got a call with the Aldridges. If not tomorrow, then almost certainly early next week. So it'd be good if I have the actual names of the places. So, so I've got Swindon, I've got Malmesbury, Bath ×2, Bathampton, Bradford, Wiltshire, Brentford.
Can we go back to what? Sorry to butt in, but can we go back to what? Give Julie some space for a minute, and then go back to getting Jeremy and Sylvia to talk about their thing. So, and it gives you a 5-minute break, Julie.
Okay. Yeah, you do that, and then I will get this to run properly. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Andrew. I thought it was just important. Where's Andrew gone?
Well, don't know, Bill.
Oh, there he is.
Andrew's got a thumbs up there.
Yeah. Okay. So, Sylvia, Jeremy, do you want to speak?
Hi, yes, thanks very much. So just a very quick update on the Green Veil project, which, as I think we mentioned last time, we've had some significant funding from the National Lottery, which allowed us to appoint somebody 1 day a week for 2 years. And we have now appointed Sherry, and she is our coordinator and single point of contact for the Green Veil project. We had our launch meeting 3 weeks ago, the 21st of April, and we have these 3 themes. And Kate, I wonder if you'd like to just give a quick update on the home energy theme. We also have a flooding theme in a moment, Kate, and we also have a flooding theme led by Paul Cobbings from Pusey, who's a national expert on flooding and flood prevention. And we are looking to appoint a lead for our nature recovery and farming theme. But currently, Sylvia is leading on that. Do you want to just give an update on we had at our launch meeting, we had a little focus group discussion session in each of the 3 themes, just to try and arrive at some priority action areas for the next 6 months.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you chapter and verse, but that will be on our website and circulated as far as you want to. We are working with Wiltshire Wildlife Trust, James McWilliam, to identify preferably a volunteer who's both an expert in nature in some shape or form, but also is interested in supporting us. Basically, Pusey Vale covers the 28 parishes across this and about 18,000 people. And we're trying to basically enable people to find out and undertake climate-friendly actions locally in the parishes.
And in a moment, I'll put the contact details for our website and our email address. Kate, would you be able to just give a very quick update on the
energy
activity on the energy theme?
Yep. So I'm leading on the energy theme and very much taking at the moment the local focus of trying to inform people and put people in touch with people who have done even the most simple changes to their homes, like blinds and curtains, to those that are doing retrofits. So far, I've got a meeting on, I think it's the 22nd of June in Burbage, which is the second biggest conurbation in the Vale, to give the talk, an updated version of the talk that I've given in Pusey around energy and your homes. I've also been to the estate agents in Pusey and handed out the Centre for Sustainable Energy's £60 online retrofit advice service, which is available right across Wiltshire. And I'm in the process now of getting around as many organisations that I can get to know just somebody to talk about the Green Vale project and to talk about the NEB screening. So that's where I've got to so far.
Great, many thanks, Kate. So we are really building up to a project-wide meeting in the autumn, but meanwhile the different themes, the 3 themes, will be developing their work plans for the next 6 months. And we very much look forward to participation from affiliated groups to WCA. We're not being very purist about the boundaries of Pusey Vale. Anybody who's really in the Pusey Vale broad area is welcome to join us and support us. And we're very keen to link up with groups who are already active in the area. We're not going to do it all ourselves by any means. We have a list of, I think it's now 35 or 40 organisations active in the broad 3 theme areas. So please do let us know if you'd like to participate or know more about us. And you'll see our website, it's a bit elementary at the moment, but please do email us and you should get a response from Sherry quite soon. Great, thank you very much.
So Julian, do you have the link now?
As you go.
Thank you, Sylvia and Jeremy. Anyway, and that's really exciting, and you're obviously determined to make the most of that support, that financial support. It's really showing us what becomes possible if we win that sort of funding. I'm particularly excited by the energy theme because that most directly addresses greenhouse gases, the cause of the climate emergency. Jackie.
I just wanted to say that I attended Sylvia and Jeremy's event, and it was, as ever, as their events always are, very inspiring, very well run. And I covered about 3 bits of paper with contacts and ideas, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do. We're in Market Lavington and we're hoping to sneak into the Green Vale. We're not very far away. So thank you.
So does anyone have the link that I sent them?
So
I've sent a link to the
yeah. So I've got the link now and I've opened it and I'm just about to try and get it full screen and share it.
Yeah.
I
don't know why I can't
it's
see.
full screen. No, I don't want it full screen. I want it full window.
Marvelous. Okay.
Share.
Not there yet.
I don't know if anyone else has had this problem, but Zoom seems to have had a major update and everything's moved. There it goes. There's that. Now I
Oh, wait a
just need
sec.
to make it
This looks
properly.
good. Looks promising.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well done, Julian.
Yeah,
Nice
well
job.
done.
Just a
Brilliant.
minute.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to have this after, so we won't have to delay. I won't keep you too long, but I wanted to focus really on the outcomes because that's more important. But the planning. So where we got to was slide 5. We were on. So after you confirm your date and you register with the NEB, and your event is then on the screening map, which is really important because it means that, you know, it gives everybody a sense of activity in your area. It stimulates other people to get involved. So try and put it on there. Even if you haven't got all the finer details sorted out, then just put it on there. It can be changed as well, so don't worry. So then the following slide 5, then in inviting people, this is my favorite subject, being a marketing person, so I really feel it's so important to get hold of the screening guide, which you get once you're registered as a host. You'll get an email from the NEB to team giving you a link to the screening guide, and this is very comprehensive. Do you have a good look through that? There's so many resources in there, and within there are email templates to invite your guests with, and they're all customized, so it's a great idea. Do you want to make that bigger? Actually, that's, if you can put it in presentation mode, that would be great.
Yes, I'm just trying to do that. I'm sorry. This is.
That's all right. Don't worry.
There's a slideshow. There was a slideshow button when you were on the previous screen.
Is that better?
Or it's sometimes down at the bottom.
Yeah,
No,
keep working your way down
on.
now, Julian.
Sorry?
Page down now, you're on it.
Page down. Cool. Okay.
Keep going.
But so just the one before. So just back one. That one. That's it. Okay. So that's where we are. So with the email templates, they're very helpful. So if you're going, there's one specifically for your MP, which is really important. And if you're going to invite your MP, don't invite him on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because they're always in London in Parliament. So try and if you want them there, and it's very important to have them there, try and organise your event at the end of the week. And this is something I only learned right at the end of my planning. So it's very important learning because I couldn't get hold of him, and he did in the end send a reply, and we are going to meet him at some point, so that's good. But you couldn't come to my Tuesday night event. So when you're creating your emails, make them as personalized to that person as you can. Obviously you won't know everybody, but try and use the direct references from the briefings. So if you're inviting a teacher, then talk about education. If you're inviting someone from the NHS, then healthcare, obviously, that sort of thing, and make it clear that whether the event is a public one or whether it's by invite only. Obviously, emails are much more important to you and only probably relevant to you if you're hosting an invite only event. A public event would be different in that you need to set up an invitation system using something like Ticket Tailor, which is free to use. So I recommend.
Oh God.
Do you not like Ticket Tailor? Who hates Ticket Tailor? No, okay.
That
Or is it
sounded
just
like
me?
Jeremy.
Yeah, it's just me.
We can cut
Okay,
that bit, Jeremy.
we'll cut you out. Yeah. So I'd be interested to know what you think of Ticket Tailor in a minute, Jeremy. So personal approach, really important rather than a generic one. And also make sure you send a reminder after a week if you haven't heard anything, because so many people don't pick up their emails. So many people that I thought weren't interested hadn't even seen it, but they were interested and they did come. So and then once you've got everyone on, once you've got your list of accepted people, I sent a reminder the day before, just to remind them again of the details and to tell them what time you're going to start the film, actually, because that's what they want. That's what they're coming for. So they'll be there on time if you tell them it's 7:15, and you've started the event at 7. Shall we go to the next slide, please, Julian? Thanks. Okay, so then this is the agenda slide that you'd have at your event. And the important thing here is the QR code in the bottom right corner has it has basically a link to a piece of national research that's going on by Bath University. And when you actually welcome people to your event, you have a handout piece of paper handout available with this QR code on it and the instructions for them to complete their pre-film questionnaire, and then they will also complete the questionnaire after the film. And it's basically a gauge of how they feel about certain things before and after the film. So it will give us an idea of what impact the film and the information they've received in the film has had on them. And this is something that I found very necessary to support through my group. So the stewards were actively encouraging people to do this, because a lot of people just groan, don't they, when you say, can you do research, please? And we got a really good result because we were proactive about helping people to fill out the questionnaires. This is how I laid out the agenda time-wise as well, and just an idea, but I just wanted to crack on with the film and then have plenty of time for the discussion. That was the aim anyway. Can we have the next slide, please, Julian? Okay, so in terms of staffing the event, we had 4 stewards, we had 2 registration people, and 45 attendees out of 58 who'd confirmed turned up on the night. So that's pretty typical, I would say. We had people from all over the Wylye Valley, so people had travelled a little way as well to come. And good diversity of audience, 2 parish councils, farmers, sports and social club people, or committee, parish hall committee, the allotment groups, these are different age ranges, different demographics really, teachers, NHS workers and the church, and half of the room I didn't know. So I didn't want to just invite my best friends. I did have a lot of good friends there, which was great, but thanks for coming, Bill and Elaine. But I think it was I was really keen to get people along we hadn't met before, mix us all up and try and get some new points of view in the room. Okay, so as I say, the MP, Mr. John Glenn, did not arrive at this event, but he has shown an interest, and I'm hoping that we can bring him along to something in Salisbury soon, and we are planning an event at the Guildhall soon. Anthony, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, sorry, just very quick question.
Sure.
Given that Richard Nugent, Lieutenant General Richard Nugent, attended on the 27th of November and made some really high-profile points for the armed forces, he's a senior retired general from the army. Yeah. Was there anybody from your Wylye Valley session who was from the forces? Because I think that's going to be important for Wiltshire, really.
I agree. And we do have one of our senior members of the parish council as ex-military, and he was very disengaged until he heard Lieutenant General Nugent, and then he got interested. So yeah, I totally agree, and it would be so good to have him at a screening we're planning with the council, which is
And I
coming
think
up.
he was there for devices as well, wasn't he?
He was there, and he was there on the devices and spokes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know, and he's a lovely guy, friendly, very friendly guy.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned the NHS. If you can get Hugh Montgomery as well from UCL, he was the health spokesperson on the 27th of November too. So that's somebody else definitely worth listening to.
Do you know where he's based? Is he based in London? Or?
I think it's London because he's UCL, you see. So I think he's London. So we'd have to turn to, you know, down the road. But yeah, it's interesting how Richard Nugent and the other ones, I think Paul Behrens, who's University of Oxford on food security, you know, but very, very good speakers on the 27th, worth listening to. If we can get them along, you know, it'll actually help you with the draw, Julie, if we've got some, you know, face cards like that.
I will say Richard spoke at the Devices event, and he was inspirational, I would say. He actually introduced the film in a very personal way, just saying how important he felt the message was for the community. You know, made it very relevant.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
The Devices organisation was run by an ex-military anyway, so I think that's probably why he agreed to go. So.
Okay, Julie, have you got more for us?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Carry on.
Do you have? Oh, right.
I'll lower my hand for now.
Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please, Julian. I'm assuming I can't do this myself, right? So, okay. So, when I opened the event, you know, I reiterated the need to complete the pre and post event questionnaire. The next slide, please, Julian, because I've already spoken. And then we also had great help from Jen Gale, who was our dedicated facilitator. And it's really important, you know, to plan this well. There's a fantastic facilitation guide which you'll gain access to when you register your event, and you can go through it. It gives you a complete script for the whole event, which you can then adapt for your event and tailor for your event. So basically, you know, the idea was to provide plenty of time after the screening for that facilitation to take place. So next slide, please, Julian. So the sorts of things that you do in your facilitation are you ask people how they're feeling, you know, after they've seen and heard quite life-changing things, really, aren't they? When they're new to you in particular. And we wanted to try and facilitate feedback. So we went around the room and asked people, you know, to share. And actually we had a really good sort of proactive group, happy to speak. You know, I think the fact that some people knew each other helped, but it seemed very friendly overall. Everyone was sharing their thoughts, and then they were quite diverse views. Next slide, please, Julian. Then there was there wasn't enough time in our session to discuss everything, so we had to move things on a little bit more. But I think that this is really important too, to be able to discuss how people are feeling and why they've got to that point. And, you know, we were at pains to point out that no views are wrong views. You know, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, and no one in the room is an expert. And that's really important to say that we're not looking for solutions, we're not looking for advice from anybody. We just want to hear how you feel and what you feel is important and how you might want to prioritize things maybe for yourself. What's important to you? And then moving on as well, please, Julian. So, you know, how do you feel you could deal with this at the moment? And some people, and in that moment, a lot of people said, well, you know, this is quite a lot to cope with. One gentleman actually got up and walked out to the lake outside and just took a moment because he was quite shocked and upset. And he wrote to me about that afterwards and said that he felt that, you know, he as an engineer was very aware of all this stuff, but this had just made it so real and so unavoidable now, you know, that it was out there in front of him. And while he was hopeful still that things would change, it was also very visceral, seeing it up there and being in a room with so many people experiencing that together and reacting together. So that's really, really important to let people feel, let people, have those reactions and have those experiences. We have the next slide, please. Thank you. And then we got to what the call for action is, basically, from the National Emergency Briefing team. The reason they've done this, and it's a huge amount of work and £180,000 worth of investment in making this public information film, is to entreat the public to call for a televised emergency briefing. And the idea is that the MP joins a list of MPs, which you can find on the website, who make a parliamentary call for that to happen, and therefore the government has to act on it. So there are an awful lot of peers and MPs that have already signed up for this, and so we're hoping that we will be able to tip the balance, and that's the first call to action, really, for everyone, is to write to their MP. So on that, I have this idea, and because I'm having a follow-up meeting next week, we're going to enact it then, to create a template email for everyone and provide that to them to then send together on the night to their MP with a tailored line from each individual, of course, so that they know it's genuine. But to actually email all of those out at the same time when we're together, because otherwise people lose confidence and they lose the impetus to do it if they leave the room. I think, if they want to do it in the moment, they should do it and not feel inhibited in any way by having to work out what to say and write. And we're going to enable them to do that. That's something that is not an NEB prescribed thing, but it's something that we're going to try in an effort to reach John Glenn. Okay, so, and you'll know what I mean. It's not easy. So then to also sign the open letter to broadcasters as well, for them to inform everyone of this very important public information that should be just mainstream and out there. Next slide, please, Julian. Okay, and then finally, I put all of the action items on one slide. So, and I pulled together, with Jen Gale's huge amount of support and help, resources tool through using Padlet, which is quite a nice little tool. So sort of resilience resources is what Jen's called it. And that's for Wiltshire. So there's a whole lot of items on there. I think you can break it down by your group as well, or by the event, so that it's more tailored for your event. And we added in things that we're doing very locally in the Wiley Valley, of course, in there for the audience that evening. We also talked about people hosting another screening. We talked about getting involved with our environmental group, and we talked about joining our WhatsApp group, that sort of thing. And we also put the date in for the next meeting, so that people could schedule that straight away. Next slide, please, Julian. Sorry, could you move the deck on, somebody?
Wilt's PEB event screenings is the next one, should be showing.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Yeah, so this is the list of events that we've got currently in Wiltshire, Anthony. That's how it's looking. I think there are a few to add that probably after this evening. I'm sure there'll be lots more, but the key ones are the Salisbury Guildhall one on the 10th of June is one where we're targeting the council in particular. We want to get the council briefed. And I've also had an email today from the cabinet member for Wiltshire Council for the Environment and Climate and Waste, Paul Sample, who's requested a cabinet screening in Wiltshire Council at Trowbridge, County Hall, Trowbridge. Yes, thank you, Andrew. so that's hopefully going to happen soon. Yes, hooray! And I think the best thing that happened at the event at Langford Lakes was that he came. Paul came, and he was so supportive and helpful, because we had a few sound issues that night. I seem to be having technical gremlins this month. It's my technical meltdown month, I think I'm going to name it. But yeah, the sound was a bit patchy, and so we tried Paul's laptop. It was the same though, so it was obviously the venue that was an issue, not our laptops. And he was so you know, engaged and impressed with it. Even though he didn't get a perfect screening, he was impressed enough to say, I want to run this in the council, and probably to Lib Dems as well. Anyway, so that's where we are with screenings at the moment. It's all looking good. And then could we go down another slide, please? Next slide. Yeah, so this is our just my thank you screen, and at the end of the event, of course, we want people to fill out the questionnaire again to see how they feel now after they've watched the film, and that's why the barcode's back on the last screen. Next slide, please. Okay, so then after the day after the event, no later than that, I wrote to everyone, and I sent them a roundup of what all the action items, as well as asking them for feedback. Next slide, please. So these are some quotes from that I've had so far. It was really informative. I'd like to show it to my group. I'm afraid the briefings did little to change my position. This is a different person, sorry. These are all different people. So this is 6 people. I'm afraid the briefings did little to change my position. That these are expert views and have been shared before. The warnings are stark. Our politicians should be going by the Maxim plan for the worst, hope for the best, but I think it's unpalatable. So I'm going to change his mind. I'd like to hold a screening at the sports club. Yay. I thought it was really encouraging to see such a full room. So congratulations for that. You made everyone feel very welcome, and it was a nice touch to have refreshments and snacks available. I'm sure you could have asked for donations. There you go. That's a good tip for everybody. I was very lax in asking for donations. The film is very powerful. There's an awful lot to take in, sorry. And then I'm going to host a screening for our village, hooray. And although I still swing between hope and despair, I did feel more hope afterwards. So that's, you know, so there's a whole range of different views there. And I don't know about you, but I just feel that sort of thing is what we do it for, isn't it? Is to find out, you know, how people feel, and to also be there to support them going forward, which is something we were talking about in the pre-event chat just now. So next slide, please, Julian. Okay, so today, Nick and Simon Aldridge, who are the NEB founders, said if you would like to see this film, they are hosting an online Zoom next Monday from 1 to 2:30. And so if any of you that are thinking about hosting, you haven't seen it already, then I recommend you do that. I did that, and it was really helpful. I mean, I actually got the film myself as well earlier to have a good look at it with my team, and it just helps you plan and helps you message, and it helps you to appreciate really the you know, the importance of the facilitation session, actually. Yeah, because it's easy to skip over things like that, isn't it? And then if you want to, again, the instructions here about how to host your screening and to add your event to the screening map. Next slide, Julian. Thanks. And then also, if you have already screened, if there's anyone here from Devices or other places, then follow up with your audience, which is obviously, I've shown you a little bit about what I've been doing, but I think there's a little email here which the Aldridges have penned to send out to your community. And there again is a session on Zoom on the 18th and 19th of May, all about following up and action after your screening. Next slide, please, Julian. And then a few more resources. So that's the NEB website, obviously, where everything is, and you can find out most things there. But also there's a weekly 45-minute NEB drop-in Zoom at 1 o'clock every Thursday, which starts tomorrow. So if you want to join in that, then that's the link. And also there's a National Church of England resource guide to screening, and I'm having a meeting on Friday with our local facilitator for Eco Church in Wiltshire, and we're going to plan how we can support churches more, and sort of try and bring the NEB approach over to the C of E approach bring them together, because at the moment they're slightly different, for consistency, and obviously make sure that they have all the information they need. And finally, that was the Padlet link that I mentioned earlier for resilience resources, which we're building on and which you're very, very welcome to add to. So I think that's it. Is there anything else, Julian? No. Okay. Anthony.
Yeah, just very quickly on the Eco Church side, is that Kit Connell from Bristol Diocese that you're talking
It's Mike Perry, actually. He's
Okay.
Wiltshire. Yeah, he's Wiltshire.
Okay, lovely. Just make sure that Kit's name is mentioned, because he turned up at
Okay.
our event, our annual event last summer. So
Yeah.
he gave a brief talk, and he's leading the charge for the eco churches in general. So that was the quick comment there. I'd say one of the most interesting things to take on board, I noticed at 8:40 you've got next steps. I think it's really important when you do the screenings. And Donna Raquel from the NEB told me this. It's really important to have some ideas up your sleeve as to what those would be. Yeah,
yes.
What those next steps are. So, because a lot of people will sort of, it's a bit of a call to arms watching the movie, right? Watching the film. So they'll want to know, how can they get involved? So I think all the contact details and just the overall story of what's going on in general, right across Wiltshire, it's useful to have that script if you've got it. That's my quick tuppence worth.
Absolutely. Yeah, makes sense.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you.
Andrew, sorry.
Yes, so much there. I don't know where to start. I'll try to keep it short. Thank you so much. Perhaps we can get those links into the chat, those resources links.
Yes.
I did put the tiny URL link into the chat, the one for the screening that the Aldridges are doing. Next thing, I'm glad people have been talking about giving people room to share feelings and so on. This is a hard-hitting film, isn't it? And that should be on the agenda. For instance, Trowbridge Environmental Community member group is doing a screening with the town council. They came to us saying, "Oh, can we field speakers for sort of a panel of experts afterwards?" We're trying to steer them towards this facilitated discussion among the watchers, more than anything else. So that's really good example. The third thing is this. I'm losing my thread. I agree with getting people to involve the community. I agree with emailing the MPs. The government may not cooperate with a televised national briefing. The public television companies may or may not cooperate. But let's hope that does happen. But sometimes I feel that all of us, none of us are getting any younger. Sometimes it feels like there's so few of us taking action in Wiltshire. I hope Wiltshire screens at least as many screenings per head as any other area in the country, and I think we're doing quite well for that. Finally, so I would say that one thing to do at the screenings is, if people are willing to ask them to share their contact details, so that a local member group can then follow up and say, here's how you could participate, here's how you could actually join in collective action on the climate emergency, because all is not lost and every little difference helps. Ask not what can I possibly do to make any difference, ask how many differences can I possibly make. And then I just want to say that there is a report by Graham Martin on the devices screening. It would take me about 2 minutes to read. We've given this best part of an hour. I could read it, or we can move on. How do people feel? If you don't want to hear it, or we can forward it in some way. The facilitated discussion, they chose to focus on resilience, and they had 3 chosen scenarios, and got people into sort of breakouts to talk about those climate extreme scenarios and how resilient they might be. My comment to him was, resilience is great and it's important, and preparedness also seems to be the flavour of the year, and I hope we don't forget to carry on carrying out climate action. So unless I had a huge number of enthusiastic nods, I won't read that out. It'll be available in some way, some shape or form. Thanks again very much. We've got Julian.
Thanks. Just a quick Couple of quick comments to add from our Swindon screening, really. Thanks, Julie. That was a really, I wish I'd seen that before the Swindon screening, actually. But the church organised it, and they did it. Actually, they were so keen to do it that they did it with quite little notice, and then they sort of asked me to help, and Jackie came along as well, and William. The church is an excellent sort of venue for it. We found that worked really well because it was an external body doing it in a sort of well, not authoritative, but you know what I mean. It gave it sort of a bit of gravitas, I think. So that worked really well. Regarding the sound, I've been at another screening where the sound didn't work, but I think the key thing is to make sure you actually have a wired connection to your sound system and your speakers, not rely on Bluetooth or something, which is what the other people did, because that can work fine when there's no one in the hall and everyone turns out with Bluetooth on their phones and it falls apart. So you really want a sound, wired connection to the sound.
We had an HDMI connection and it was all tested in advance, but then there was a problem with the amount of bandwidth the system could cope with, and it's a very high definition film, and
HDMI can be problematic as well, especially when you've got older equipment, because there's different standards of it, and but I mean, there's nothing, as you say, all you can do is test it in that case. One difference between the way we did it in the church and the way you did it, I think, is that after the film and a short break, we invited people to sort of sit around tables of about 10, and we did have sort of people, facilitators around each table, who sort of had some knowledge of it and had seen it before, and well, most of them had seen it before. They didn't all, but that I think did work quite well. And then I'm not sure what the best way to feedback is. The way we did it in the church screening was that everyone sort of read out their feedback from the table, which was a bit long-winded. I think maybe we should have summarised that a little bit more and then given a little bit of time for discussion. But we found, as when we got to discussion, unfortunately, it was a public screening, and that sort of dampened the atmosphere a bit. And also being pre-election and so on, it we had to sort of cap a few little party political sort of comments that people were making, so that was unfortunate. But that was quite difficult. And finally, on the letters, I think that's a great idea to have actual A4 letter with space for people to write their comments. And we just used postcards, blank postcards for people to write messages, and we got about 10. But I think the letter, really helps because it means people can add their own comments, but still have the main part of it there. And a quick question for you, Julie. The open letter, I thought that was to the PM rather than to the broadcasters. Has it changed, or what's the situation there?
It's the PM and broadcasters, yeah. It's a whole list of people, including ITV and BBC and people like that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks.
No, you're welcome. Yes, Bill.
Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment on Chris Packham.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I was at your screening, there was some boos from the back for Chris Packham. So you have to be very careful about using him as a lead. I don't think, Anthony, it's a particular problem. I just think we've got to try and make sure we don't upset some people or stop them coming just because Chris Packham is in the film. He acts as the coordinator between us, the link between the sections, and has other people sitting with him, which is okay. But I think it's just a warning that your audience might react when they see Chris start the whole film off. Other than that, it was
a really interesting point there, Bill. Any idea why they're booing?
Well,
is it because he's also promoting his own services in other advertisements? Is that the reason? Or?
No, they're booing him because he's very green and obviously
a big figure, is he? Okay.
He's quite critical of farmers, isn't he? And we're in a very intensive farming area. So our farmers really, it seems to be a lot of the farmers and landowners around here don't like. I had a lot of very not very nice, let's put it that way, emails from parish councillors even saying that I'm not coming because it's Chris Packham and he leaves me cold. And I just completely ignored it and started promoting using the featuring the talks by the experts. So I just sort of so this is not about Chris Packham. This is what it's about. This is what you're going to learn from, and that's why I use their images on the slides as well at the screening, rather than the one with Chris Packham on the front, because he is, at the end of the day, the presenter. He's not the person who's put the the data together, the research together.
Yeah, we've been better off with somebody who was actually completely neutral and
yeah, no. There was the good news though, Bill and Julie, is that there was a great quote from the 27th. They said you can't farm floods, and we had a couple of speakers actually talking about the weather and food security. So Hayley Fowler from Newcastle and Paul Behrens from Oxford, two professors, were talking about food specifically. We could bring that out a little bit more, because I think you're right. I think this being I live next door to a farm, really, and they said the same sort of thing to me about climate change. Right. So and it's nothing to do with that, with us or the NEB. It's to do with what's going on politically. Inheritance tax and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good point, and actually having a strategy in our area to engage the farmers is really important. So I'm working with the farm clusters around here, the farm cluster groups, and some of those came to my event, so that's really positive. A couple of them have already said they want to try and host an event, so that's good. Anyway,
There's also, Julie, a bit of confusion right now this month about biodiversity net gain, and who falls in the measures from the government and who doesn't. Again, the farmers are up in arms because they don't need this kind of bureaucracy. They don't know what they need to do. They don't know when they need to do it by. They're not impressed. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well.
Andrew, should we move on?
Yes, let's, because we go on 8 o'clock. It's been an hour well spent, I think. And I did put the agenda at the top. This one's going to run and run. I'm just amazed how it has blossomed out. Thank you to Sylvia and Jeremy. You've already come, given us your update. So 20's plenty. And in the after giving his update, his short report from his devices screening, Graham Martin conveniently pivoted to the subject of 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, and I want to give you an update here. Wiltshire Council, Martin Smith, the cabinet member for highways, gutters, potholes, etc., has now adopted a revised 20-mile-an-hour speed limit policy. A lot of people lobbied him. We engaged with 20's Plenty for Us, the national lobbying body, community interest company or charity, I think, and a lot of Wiltshire councillors lobbied him, as well as a lot of us in the transport topic group. So the policy is good in parts. The officers have followed the government guidance on speed limit policies quite closely. The latest update to the government guidance was in 2024 under the Rishi Sunak government, when they'd come up with what some people regard as a rather politicized thing called the Plan for Drivers, which kind of was against the, it was kind of anti-woke, some people say, and pro-motorist. So the speed limit policy doesn't go as far as we'd like, but it does have something new in it, which is that there's a direct process for towns and parish councils to request 20-mile-an-hour speed limits across their communities, and I think there may be a presumption that these will be granted. A presumption, let's find out. All is not lost if the policy isn't as progressive as it could have been, because the government launched its road safety strategy in November, and they did say that they will come out with a new update to the national guidance on speed limits and speed management policies, which we hope will be much more progressive. We know from examples in Wales and across England and in Scotland that there are fantastic road safety improvements where 20-mile-an-hour area-wide speed limits have been imposed. What's the climate relevance here, you might ask? So my answer is, if people feel safer walking, wheeling and cycling because their community has a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, we hope that will encourage people to shift from driving so much to using those other modes of transport. Now, in spite of people who oppose these, claiming that a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit will cause more congestion and more pollution, I think the findings from where it's been implemented suggest that there's less congestion, because after all, it takes you longer to get to the end of the road and join the back of a queue, without affecting your overall journey time, and less and fewer emissions, because it's the accelerating and decelerating in urban traffic, the stop-start, and speeding up to 30 miles an hour that really does most of the emissions. Even when you are in a queue of traffic, your emissions are low compared with when you're accelerating to 30. So there is an emissions connection, there's a traffic reduction connection. So the reason we're bringing this in here is that we are recommended by Adrian Berrant, a director and promoter from 20's Plenty, to try and carry out a big push, contacting parish councils particularly, but also our town councils, to encourage them en masse to apply to Wiltshire Council and request 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, which would normally be where the 30-mile-an-hour speed limits are. And if there's anything like a blanket speed limit policy, 30 miles an hour in Britain is one. So when people say, oh, we don't want blanket speed limits like they have in Wales, those aren't really blanket because they're exceptions. But the 30-mile-an-hour speed limits in Britain are pretty universal where there's a built-up area with streetlights, aren't they? So, in communities, what did you say, Sylvia and Jeremy? There are 28 parishes in Pewsey Vale. Does each of them represent a village or hamlet with a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit in some cases? Perhaps not all.
They don't have 20, well, they have 30-mile-an-hour speed limits, but some are tiny, like 100 houses.
Okay, then. So there are villages and hamlets, aren't there? And parishes and little settlements. But we're arranging a meeting between people like myself and Martin Smith, the cabinet member, and Adrian from 20's Plenty, through the WALC, Wiltshire Association of Local Councils, to see how we can reach out to towns and parishes to try and get them to request this. Now, I think that Martin Smith, a little bird tells me he would have liked to go further, but politically it's very difficult because the current Liberal Democrat administration has a very slim majority. There are people with all kinds of views, and the money isn't there for Wiltshire to foot the bill for all these speed limits for towns and parishes to be put in for nothing, and there's likely to be a backlash of public opposition. So, what should we be doing as Wiltshire Climate Alliance campaigners? Question mark. And we do have a transport topic group. I don't even have a list of which parishes are in which community area board. Does anyone know that? Have that information at all? Jackie, you've got that on the ball, as ever.
I can share that with you, and also their area representatives from the council.
So is that you've got a list of which area boards every parish council in Wiltshire is in? Fantastic.
I did it for the climate summit.
Oh, that's great. We did also do something that's indirectly relevant and might be very helpful. Some of us tried to get, when we realized that Martin Smith was making a single member decision on this speed limit policy, which we think is less than ideal, some of us tried to reach out to, we actually chose all the Lib Dem councillors who aren't in the cabinet to try and get them to call in the decision. And that was a useful learning experience. For one thing, it's useful to know that executive decisions can be called in, but a call in is like a council level judicial review. It's a second chance to look at the decision making process. not whether you agree or disagree with the decision. It also has to happen within 5 working days of the decision. It also has to be carried out by at least 10 councillors. So I think we're very unlikely to get any decision called in our lifetimes in Wiltshire Council under this present system. But it was worth the effort. We also, I did this, actually cleaned up a contact details list for all Wiltshire councillors. There is a web page. There's a list you supposedly can download and put into a mail merge. It had all kinds of problems in it. I've now debugged it and turned it into a spreadsheet. So we now have a complete list of all Wiltshire councillors with their email addresses, with their phone numbers, mostly mobile, and a couple of other pieces of information about them. For people to use, it would have to come through steering group, I think, to email councillors in the name of Wiltshire Climate Alliance. And a third thing we learnt was very few Wiltshire councillors have the time to check emails, let alone reply to them. Over a 2 or 3 day period, to how many councillors? Bill might know. We got perhaps 8 or 10 replies, and it was 30, 40 or 50. Over to you, Bill.
There were 40 councillors, and we got 8. But we only gave them 24 hours, so it wasn't enough time for them to even open their emails, probably.
That's true, and it was a weekend. Okay, so that's going on behind the scenes in under the auspices of our transport topic group. Anybody got any comments on 20 mile an hour, 20's plenty where people live? Where you are, or do you think your neighbours? What do you think other people think? Julie? You're muted, Julie, sorry.
Sorry, getting tired now. So what difference does it make to pollution, 20 to 30 miles an hour? Because I think if people knew that, they might be more supportive.
Yes, good question. And I think when I recently read all 167 responses to a 20 mile an hour proposal in Bicester in Oxfordshire, pollution, road safety, all those sorts of things might be secondary. Even facts generally might be secondary. But there's a paper on the available, a link through the 20's Plenty website, which shows that in urban areas, stop-start traffic, the stop-start nature of traffic is the dominant source of emissions, and not just the emissions at 20 miles an hour from your car, the emissions at 30 miles an hour from your car, and so on. There is a myth highway engineers believe, which is that all cars are most efficient at 50 miles an hour. That might have been true for some big gas guzzlers in the United States in the 70s when the research was done. But it's stop-start traffic means you're constantly accelerating, which takes a lot of energy, which takes a lot of fuel, and then having to put the brakes on and go back to slow or stopped, and then accelerating again, and that's a repeated cycle. Think when next time you drive into or through a town, reflect on how many times you're going to steady speed and how many times you're stopping, starting, and accelerating. And accelerating to 30 takes more than 50% more energy than accelerating to 20. So that's how it helps save emissions. The fact that 20 mile an hour smooths out the traffic, so there's less tail marks at the end of your particular piece of road, might also contribute to lower emissions. Hope that answers your question, and I'll try and find you a link to that paper, which is very useful. A lot of hands up. Do you want to go, Bill, Anthony, Jeremy, Shirley?
Okay. Just getting back to that point, I think there should be evidence now from Wales at least, and I think there are an awful lot of places in England that have actually got 20 mile an hour limits now. So there should be a lot of evidence in pollution reduction in some way. I don't know where it would be, but there must be. We'll put an AI to look for it, shall we? Bound to get it right. The second one is this is a very thorny subject, and if I'm all for it. Our village is horrendous. It's a cut through because they're not a bypass in Westbury. They all cut through Dilton Marsh. Just digging another thing, but I think it would be great if we could have a debate. I know as a podcast, as a as an interview on Wiltshire radio or even on the television about it, with the facts, that sort of thing that Julie was talking about, on the right side of what we're trying to deal with in terms of loss, less accidents, less pollution, less this, less the other, no change in your journey times, marginal change in your journey times, blah, 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 on our list of goodies before that meeting, and then have somebody on the other side that, I still want to drive at 50 miles an hour and a 30 mile an hour limit. Well, you can do that at a 20 mile an hour limit. It's up to you. But, it's that sort of fight we need to have it, so that, and make sure, and the reason we're just going to make sure that we win the fight in that meeting. So we've got to be well prepared for it. But I just think it's a thing we could do. It's a thing we could actually push for. We could actually create our own podcast and then broadcast it through whatever means we can. So I just quite like the idea of doing something that actually would present something to people. Okay, my shout, shut up.
Anthony, next. I agree with you, Bill. It's about the narrative as much as the so-called objective facts. Anthony, sorry.
It is about the narrative. We've got a lot of single track lanes in villages in North Wiltshire, so Slaughterford, Ford, and Castle Combe down the road. And it's road safety. We've got children playing in the road. We've got pets. We've got farm animals. And here's the problem: it's not just normal locals driving up and down our roads. It's delivery vehicles that are pushing more than 30 miles an hour. It's tourists. So, it all adds up, basically, Andrew. It's not like it's a single issue or it's greenhouse gas emission per se. It's noise pollution. It's social factors as well. So it's just to reinforce that and what Bill was saying.
Jeremy.
Yeah, thanks. Just to pick up a point that you made about if vehicles are travelling at 20 miles an hour or close to that number, the whole street environment is safer for active travel. That's a really important point to consider. But the other and a point about that is that non-compliance at 30, or even compliance at 30, somebody travelling at 29 miles an hour is still faster than non-compliance at 20 miles an hour, which could be as much as 23 miles an hour or 24 miles an hour, which is a much safer speed. And, the compliance is not the issue here. It's the general speed that traffic is travelling.
Okay. It's about how much slower people. It's about how much slower people drive, not about whether they're breaking the law or not.
Indeed. Yeah. Sorry.
Shirley.
Thank you. Just 2 points that are neutral but about facts. My car certainly struggles at the 20 miles an hour between needing second and third. It's really quite tricky. And I would have thought that a really good University Department of Transport, I think Sheffield and Oxford have both got them, should know that precisely what we're meant to be doing and how that affects. Second point, would having 20 mile an hour in lots of built up areas obviate the need for sleeping policemen, because they are an absolute disaster in terms of cars and pollution because of the slowing down, the bumping and everything else. So if one could obviate the need for the other, that would be a very big argument for 20. But I do think it's tricky for many car engines.
Okay, thanks. Two really good points, Shirley. And about sleeping policemen and chicanes and so on, those are features you get in 20 mile an hour zones, as opposed to 20 mile an hour limits, which are just a plain road, but with 20 at each end signs. And 2020 for us do not advocate 20 mile an hour zones for a couple of reasons. One is that they're much more expensive with those chicanes, sleeping policemen, any other features like that. Another is that they're pretty unpopular. So if you have 20 mile an hour across your built up area where people live, people are more prone to comply with it without having to have all that extra stuff that costs a fortune. And so I don't think we're advocating 20 mile an hour zones. And Adrian Berendt of 20's Plenty says that they are not asking for them either. It may be possible, I don't know, that once a 20 mile an hour limit across a town or all of a village is bedded in, it might be possible to take out some of those features. This was very much the flavour with Department for Transport 25 years ago. Oh, we've got to have, you know, chicanes and sleeping policemen and so on our rat runs. So it might be possible to take some of those out. I can't speak to you about driving at 20, car engines and so on. I've seen a lot of complaints that it's very difficult to drive at 20. And I think, well, isn't it rather difficult to drive at 30?
No, it's not as
no?
difficult. No, it is. No, I have to be honest. It is more difficult because of the gear, because of the gearing. It really is. You can feel it. Yeah.
And yet people all over London, people all over Wales, people all over Scotland, and the many, many English towns and villages where 20 mile an hour is the maximum legal speed, have been able to adapt. And perhaps they find it easy to go at 17. Well, great, than 20. But I think there's a huge objection to change, and whether
no, I'd just like to hear the facts from the specialist university departments on it, because they must have it. They've done it all, you know, and especially as if it will be completely different with EVs. So, you know, I don't know, completely.
Thanks. I'll try and find a link to the research paper on accelerations being the dominant source of emissions in towns on the 20's Plenty website. I might even be able to put it in the chat. Can anyone talk sensibly about the ins and outs of holding to just under 20 in an EV here?
It's easy. Send the story.
It is absolutely easy. I have friends with hybrids who are saying that actually they have problems because the cruise control won't run at under 23 miles an hour. So there are lots of technical issues about the cars which do make it harder to operate at 20 than at 30. They need to be addressed.
Are there cruise controls that you can set to 20 in EVs as opposed to hybrids? Anyone
Mine
know?
has one. I think many do.
We can set a speed limit of anything in an EV. There's no gears. There are no gears in an EV. Just goes from 0 to 100 miles an hour without changing gear. Well, sorry, 70 miles an hour.
Wouldn't it be great if 20 mile an hour speed limits encourage people to switch to EVs so that it's easier to hold their speed down to 20?
Yeah.
That would be a side effect. Thanks. So, all right. That's all I can say about that, unless anyone's going, yeah, I'll go to our village and all our parishes and we'll write to them. We will try and come back to you with a strategy for reaching out to town and parish councils. And when we've had our meeting with Martin Smith and the Wiltshire Association of Local Councils. Okay. And I do feel that Martin Smith's heart is in the right place. And this is, I'm careful, this meeting's being recorded. It may be possible that he might be experiencing that there's an inertia in the organisation culture at Wiltshire Council that he hopes to bring about organisational change and make it a little bit more progressive, particularly in highways. Who knows? So we don't need to dwell any more on that. I'm just fine babbling while I check the agenda. That's item 2. Goodness me, 8:30. The rest of it was much shorter items. Greener Business and Communities Day in Swindon. We've got, after that, engaging MPs and councillors in Great Big Green Week. Brief reports on April events, if there's anyone, and talk about some May events. I think Greener Business Swindon and Community Day show up on item 3 and on item 6. So let's go straight to that. If anyone can talk to us about those. Okay.
Right. So William here, and I'm hopefully trying to share a screen. We'll see if it works. Can you see a screen with something other than my face on it? Yeah, brilliant. Greener Swindon, we're working with Swindon Borough Council to put on a day for businesses in Swindon primarily, but also close by. There were 2 days originally conceived, but the Communities Day, the more we went for it, the more we realised that the combination of the local elections and just the time of year, it really didn't seem to be working very well. So we have postponed the Communities Day to a date yet to be decided in the autumn. But the Business Day is continuing. And I'm pleased to say that we've got, I think, a very good programme. If I can just swap to the, oh blast, that's gone off. That's what I want. The event programme, I hope you can see that now. So we've got success stories across Swindon. We've got public and private partnerships and how they can help. We've got a strong session on clean energy and the different options there and how they affect businesses. And that will go into workshops where we will get people working together on how the solutions can work in their businesses. Creating green offerings, a purpose-driven company. Clean businesses for the future, about decarbonisation of businesses primarily. And then a whole load of workshops for people who want to delve into one area in more detail. We have 28 now organisations contributing to those panels and workshops. You can see down at the bottom there a number of them. I'm pleased to say that Umesh Kathirvel, excuse me if I've mispronounced your surname, is with us this evening, though I haven't seen his face on the screen. He will be on the starting out. He has produced software for small SMEs starting out on their journey to decarbonisation with some very practical pointers, helping them to work out how to get going fastest and most effectively. So that's on the 22nd of May. We really haven't started promoting it until this week. And we won't be able to really ramp up properly until next week because of the PERDA constraints around the Swindon local elections. So that's proving very challenging. Yes, the word is getting out. Anything you can do to help get the word out would be fantastic. And the materials to get the word out will not officially come out until Friday because of the local government, local election restrictions. So that would be very, very helpful. I will put my email in the chat, and if anyone feels they have connections to business communities and would be happy to help me just getting the word out a little bit further, I would welcome that. We also would welcome, I think, just 3 or 4 people, if you're really up for it, to come and just help a bit with the stewarding and the general tidying around the event. It's going to be in the work shed, which is near the station in Swindon. Julian, do you want to add anything to that?
For Business Day, I think, thank you. No, I'll just say something briefly about the Community Day.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to unshare my screen now. Stop share, there we go. Ooh. Good. Back over to you, Julian.
Okay, yeah, or maybe and Jackie as well, but yeah, just to confirm if you haven't already become aware, we in the end decided to postpone the Communities Day until September-ish in the autumn because It just wasn't going to be possible to organise a sort of sensible event in the time, and we thought it was going to be better to wait for the new council, and if the new council is supportive, then hopefully we'll do it together with them. If it's not, then we'll do it in a venue that ourselves, and we'll invite the councillors to it, and that could be quite a good way to go if the council turns out not to be supportive. So so we've been working on that at the moment. Immediately after the election, we will have to start making a more detailed plan for that event in the autumn, of course. Did anyone else want to say anything about the community event, or shall we leave it there for today?
I was just going to say that there was a lot of interest was developing in the event, particularly following the Friends of the Earth climate justice event that we did in March. A lot of conversations with parish councillors and with other community groups, and it was all beginning. I think there's a general feeling of relief that actually the autumn will be a perfect time to hold it. And also, of course, the People's Emergency Briefing in Christchurch generated a lot more leads and interest, and there will hopefully be more emergency briefings throughout Swindon to continue to develop ahead of interest in climate matters. So.
Yes. Since you mentioned it, I was going to, this is sort of also later on the agenda, but that Friends of the Earth event, no problem at all. It does sort of link, really, doesn't it? As you say, we had a event which Friends of the Earth helped us facilitate in Swindon, which was an attempt to engage sort of a lot of the less usual suspects into thinking about climate, and it was sort of ahead of the election. Again, it was sort of organised in a bit of a rush, but it was a great rehearsal for doing that sort of thing. So Friends of the Earth had done it at several places across the country. They've actually gone through the Voluntary Action Statutory Organisation and invited through them all the charities and other organisations who are registered with them. Given a bit more time, we could have sort of reached out through our networks and sort of invited a lot more people and chased them up and all that sort of thing. But it showed what can be done, and even given the short timescales and the limited way in which we reached out, we got about 20 people there, and that fed into the People's Emergency Briefing film that we had. So both of those things are doing a sort of approaches to building up our network. So just slightly more about the Friends of the Earth event. The title, which William came up, which was an excellent title, it was Climate Impacts and Social Fairness Workshop, and it was an attempt to link sort of show how climate change is correlated to social deprivation, as it were, and how a lot of the groups who are working on social aspects in the voluntary sector can both benefit from being aware of the climate and benefit from actions that are taken to mitigate and adapt to climate change, and sort of get them a little bit more engaged with the things we need to do. So that was the idea of the Friends of the Earth event. Right, that's it from me on that. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Leslie.
Can I just say, I think, Umesh, do you just want to say, sorry, I did see you coming out from the thing. No,
yeah,
I can't see that. Yeah, just hello and thank you for being with us this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, William, for actually inviting me onto this one, and lovely to see you all. I met the group and William and a few more in the Swindon NEB screening, which was amazing. And I'm currently working on an app. So I'm the founder of a company called Tech Collab. We build websites and apps for startups. And I'm currently working on an app called Step Zero, which is focused on SMEs becoming more sustainable. It's a free practical platform, And yeah, we're really excited to be part of here and to be part of the Greener Business Day event as well. Really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Umesh. Back to you, Andrew.
Yes, over to you, Leslie, with a hand up waiting patiently. Thank you.
Thank you. You asked, suggested that we might like to share information around about this event with contacts. Is this leaflet, poster, whatever it is there a link to it somewhere, or is there
the easiest way, and forgive me for not having a better way, is I'm just putting my email into the chat, and if you could pick up on that and email me, I will get materials to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And of course, next week we will be putting something on the website, hopefully. I think that's right, isn't it, William? Is that
yes. I'm really sorry. We've been caught by Purda far more seriously than we ever expected. And that's, the Swindon Borough Council people have been aghast at how their hands have been tied. Yes, and Jeremy's put the link for sign up into the chat as well. So that is there. I will send that to anyone as well who emails me on that one.
Julie.
Yeah, hi. Well, yeah, I just wondered, is there anything on the website yet, WCA website, about the event?
No, because of the blooming local elections. There will be on Friday.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. That's great. Yeah. Have you done a press release as well?
Not yet. We've not been. Yes, it's been very difficult because of the sensitivities around the local elections and what the council has decided is permissible this time round.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we might well need some help to get that press release around, I guess. We've got a very useful press contacts list through the NEB screening in Swindon, actually, for Swindon sort of press. But I'm not sure how wide, the intention is to put the press release, but, we'll need to do a lot very rapidly. So I don't know how best to organise that. Are you sort of suggesting that you might have some thoughts on that, Julie? Or?
Well, the problem I've got, I was going to let you know, I am actually going to be travelling for 3 months from the 18th of May.
Right.
And I've got I've got, I'm getting all of this information, into places so that people can access it for themselves rather than in case I'm not available. But I am, I'm contactable, and if I could help draft something before I go. I mean, if you just get a draft done, then it's easy, isn't it? You just got to email it.
If we've got a draft and the contacts, then the job's done. It's just getting those two bits together.
I'm going to talk to you a bit about things like Twitter, William, as well. But the way we handle that if we want to. But yeah, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to, send. Well, you probably know a lot more about it than I do. That's the thing. But if you wanted to create a rough draft, William, and then send it through, and I'll put it into.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point now where I've agreed with them that I will ask for forgiveness rather than permission. So
I think
we've got to now.
I assume the event is now set to go on regardless of the complexion of Swindon Borough Council the day after the election.
That is the reason why we've chosen such an awkward date so close after the local elections, because we were confident that the new administration would not be in a position to cancel it in that if it was on that date.
Okay, and why would they want to, for goodness sake? Now, is it just a technical question? Is it possible to issue a press release that's embargoed until 10 p.m. on Thursday, so that the media at least get the story beforehand? Just wondered.
I don't know.
I'll leave that with you. That sounds the sort of thing that people do.
No, you can do that. Yeah, absolutely can do that. I mean, I think the problem I've got is I'm not around tomorrow either. So, but if you, you know, I have got some contacts in press contacts that we could compare lists on. I could send you the list. That might help. Yeah. You've probably got more than me though.
Yeah, I mean, Julian's in a better position than me. I've been largely dependent. I know that the Swindon Borough Council comms team they're rearing to go, and they've got stuff ready to go.
Okay, then.
So they will be going out, but that doesn't stop us going out.
I bet Jackie's got loads as well.
Umesh.
William, I've designed some posters for you as well after your email about the Green Business Day. So can I share it to your email? Or
yes, please do.
Can I share that?
Please do. That'd be fantastic. Thank you, Umesh.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Right. I think those have been the main items on our agenda, which was, as usual, very long. There are a few little things which we could dig into, but we could. I think we should be calling the meeting to a close in the next maximum 15 minutes. I'll just give you a preview of what some of them are. Engaging MPs and councillors in Great Big Green Week. If anyone has anything specific to say, please do that shortly. Brief reports on April events. People in the Square. That was Salisbury, wasn't it? Julian's already reported on Swindon. Climate Impact and Social Fairness, Friends of the Earth Workshop. Greener Business Swindon. We've got People in the Park Salisbury coming up. And then any member news and any other business and so on. So I'm just going to step through those and ask for anyone to contribute. For instance, Great Big Green Week. Has anyone got anything to say or ask about engaging MPs and councillors? I can't even tell you from memory the date of Great Big Green Week. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's in the middle of June. I don't know if anyone else has sort of been taking a lead of this while I've been a bit distracted, but it's a thing organised by the Climate Coalition. Again, they have a map of all the things that are going on, and the primary objective is to put on events and invite MPs to them, and councillors, other decision makers, to show them the extent of support for climate action. They are rather explicitly trying to make them more sort of fluffy events rather than the sort of hard-hitting filmy type events. And so different MPs may be at different stages. I think some MPs may be more sort of, needing to be engaged at the sort of, showing how constituents value nature and that sort of level. And others may sort of think, take that for granted. And what they need is a bit more understanding of the big consequences. So I have had trouble in thinking of what we might do for Big Green Week in Swindon. I think our MP is at the sort of, they already know the fleshy stuff and they need, and so what we might well do is try and sort of link a national emergency, People's Emergency Briefing film to Great Big Green Week, although, they haven't sort of encouraged that particularly, but they haven't banned it either, I think.
No. On that point, on that point, Julian, that is something that they are consciously doing in Trowbridge, isn't it? TECO are doing their event at Trowbridge in Great Green Week, and there's also the Salisbury Guildhall event is on the 10th of June. So there's a couple there, and we could connect up. We could connect up the publicity,
that they're thinking of doing that as well, and other people are thinking of doing that.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got any other comments about the sort of events that might be good to invite MPs to in Great Big Green Week? Ideas, creative ideas.
We are launching in Leaf a growing club for children. So we could announce it that week just to tie in. yeah, I mean, it depends if we're ready, because we're just getting the beds put in at the moment, but it's possible it could happen, and that's another team, not me. So I even if I'm not here, that can happen. So I could find out if they're up for that. That might be good.
It's still good practice at sort of inviting MPs to things and building relationships with them, isn't it? I think, and you start with a small thing and then you try and get a regular meeting going and that sort of stuff.
Well, I've told Bridget Wayman about this because she's very keen on community action, apparently. So I'm labelling it as a community action programme rather than it being a climate related thing, which she sort of balks at. Sorry, this is being recorded, isn't it? Oh well, never mind.
We can sort it out. Don't worry.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Anyway,
I think I'll have a lot of editing to do this month.
Yes.
Apart from the technical bits.
Bleep. Lots of bleeps. Sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, Julie, that's good.
Any other reports then, please? Or updates or questions about that or anything else? I'm afraid I'm do too much anyway, and I never really connect with Great Green Week. That's very personal to me. Julie.
I had some really good news that I wanted to give you all to leave, bring us up all on a high. So people in the square achieved 30 applications for warmer homes grants. So after the talk that Paul Sample gave in the square on Bank Holiday Monday, Easter Bank Holiday Monday, he said he had 30 applications directly after that talk that he could attribute to the event. So he was really pleased. So I do believe that we should be doing a lot more sort of case study type things that are, he just gave his own personal account of his own experience of switching to solar, for example. And people got really excited and signed up, apparently. So especially because there are lots of retired people in Salisbury without income, without high income. So the grant is ideal for that, isn't it? So anyway, just so you know.
Great.
Yeah,
thanks.
That's really good. Leading by example is something we talked about before, and it's so important for people to do that.
We really are lucky with Paul Sample, aren't we? He's kind of a case study in that talk we had about if leaders will set good examples, it can be very influential in bringing change.
Yeah.
So Jackie.
Just a couple of things on that topic. I spoke to Brian, our lovely MP for Melksham and Devizes, who came to the Devizes event, and he is just so supportive of everything that you're all doing. And I said, what can we do to help your job in Parliament to spread the news? And he said, just tell me what you're all doing and I will share it. And he's very good on fighting for local issues, but also he used to he worked for Water Aid in Tanzania as his proper job, so to speak. So he really understands the whole impact of climate change. The other thing I wanted to raise is, I know we all have to look after our own well-being working in this space. And I certainly had a bit of a crash after the summit, just exhaustion and not looking after myself. And I was incredibly helped by a coach called Arianisha, who I picked up. I first found out about her through the power station. Wonderful Dan and Hillary, who camped out on their roof to get turned their own street into solar panels, equipped with solar panels. And she works with them. She works with a lot of people in the climate space. And I originally went to her to learn how well, you may or may not think it worked, but certainly gave me a lot of confidence in public speaking, because I'd never been able to do that at all. And she really helped me with that. And she's offering a couple of free webinars, which I will put in the chat if anybody's interested. Highly recommend her. She's called Arianisha, but actually she comes from Westbury. So, but she did 10 years in East London helping people cope with electricity bills and trying to help them put, so she really understands the space and working with people. And she also works with Cambridge University as well, so she's good egg.
Can she help me with my electricity bill? The one thing left, I think, that I've noticed is people in the square in Salisbury, people in the park, people in the square happened recently. People in the park is coming up, is it? Does anyone want to report on that at all? Because if
Not
not,
really
I think
involved with that.
we're mercifully running out of topics. And
yeah. So I mean, with people in the park, in the past we have had a little WCA store, haven't we? Is anyone thinking that might be a good idea this year, or not in that neck of the woods? I've come down. It's a great event to have a store and talk to people, but
I think Julie and I were talking about that, Julie, weren't we?
Are we? I can't remember.
No, sorry, no, it's Jackie, not you. No, Jackie.
I'm
Jackie.
not...
Sorry, it's Jackie. No, it's Jackie.
Oh, Jackie, yeah.
Are you still on for it, Jackie? Are you on mute?
Muted.
Still on mute.
You're still muted, Jackie. That's it.
Is that it? Sorry, my screen had gone small. I'd love to do it. It's a great event. It's just, are there other people interested in doing it? It's quite a lot of work, and as Leslie knows, our local plan is getting quite busy at the moment. So,
yeah, you just popped up to the top of the screen for me. I hadn't noticed you there before. Nice to see you again.
So we shall see. But
Claire's
have
offering.
a chat over it, Bill.
Claire's offering.
Oh,
no, I'm not offering. I was just explaining.
You're always really busy there.
Oh, hello, everybody. When we did it before, I think it was a bit of a thin spread between that and other things going on at the same time. So, for example, they still need stewards. So, query whether I'm going to be able to be a steward for a couple of hours, but they still need stewards, I think. And then the Natural History Society, which I'm linked to, they want someone to help. So I think, certainly for me, it would be I couldn't do anything except help for a brief period if somebody else was doing it, so to speak. So someone could go to lunch or something like that. But other than that, I haven't got the bandwidth for it. No.
I did wonder whether, because I think there's something about the People's Emergency Briefing going to be at the event, isn't there? Is Julie?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. This is a bit.
I was only going to say, would it help if I ran an information stall on the briefing, or backed up that, or what do you think?
Well, no, so XR are doing a specific tent offering, sort of, I think they're just going to show the clips from it rather than the whole thing, and some of the PowerPoints, some of the the original briefings rather than the film, because obviously the film is too long and it's it needs facilitation, etc., and you have to be 16 or over. So I think that Mike DePici is running that, so he knows what's happening, and I think that at the moment, because they've got the Coat of Hope coming to Wiltshire this week, that's what they're focused on in XR, but then after that, Di Cross is going to be running that in People in the Park. So if you so I think have a chat with them and see how we can help. But as
long as they're sorted, that's fine. But
I think
if help would be appreciated.
I think it's with a view to a screening later on, isn't it?
Yeah, they're going to have a screening. They're organising a Methodist church screening in Salisbury on the 2nd of June. And we're doing a Guildhall screening, which is much wider for the public and community groups, on the 10th of June. Yeah.
Right.
I know when we did the Warminster event, we had a panel on that, and I just dragged everybody wherever possible over to get them engaged.
Brilliant. And our Salisbury crew are mostly not here, but I'm sure they're getting some things organised. I've just got one more update for you. It's coming up to 9 o'clock, and it's a non-update. You remember the Eco Hubs National Lottery Community Fund bid for £1.5 million or so? The news is that National Lottery have still not got around to assessing the bid and whether it passes through stage 1. This is coming up to 3 months after the earliest date they committed themselves to letting everyone know. So it's quite remarkable. And I think the lesson is either we should all buy more lottery tickets so that they've got more staff, or the National Lottery should blooming well put more money into the community fund so that they have enough staff to do the things the good deeds that they're trying to do with everyone's lottery money. So any more updates or questions and comments? Let's the next meeting should be on the first Wednesday in June. We'll let you know if it isn't. And I think it's time to switch off the recording. And thank you for coming. We're down to half the number of people who were here in the brilliant first hour of the meeting. Thank you particularly, Umesh.